Praise the Lord, everyone. I have a short video that I want to do. I'm hoping it's going to be short. This is something that has really been on my mind a long time, but I've really not known how to put this video out, or if it really should be a video or whatever. It's just been a topic that's been on my mind for a while. But go ahead and I'm going to talk about it now and share my thoughts about this particular topic, and that is, like I've said before, over the past 4 years or so, the Lord has moved me around to a lot of different churches, and He's put me in a lot of churches with women leadership. Sometimes they were the lead pastors, other times they were in other positions of church leadership. And I got to say, my view on that, I've done other videos on. I do believe that God is ordaining women to be in positions of church leadership, including the lead pastors. I believe that. Now, there's going to be, if you are a woman, you're a church leader, there's, especially the higher up you go, the more you're going to run into this. When you get to be the lead pastor, or you get to a high level within the church, you're going to run into men that won't go to your church, and based on that alone, of course, I can quote 1 Timothy chapter 2, and I'm just going to quote one of the verses here. It says, is verse number 12, "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence." The word usurp there means to exercise authority, to exercise authority over a man. So there's a lot of men that refuse to go to a church with women at the helm of the church. So that oftentimes when you have a female pastor, you wind up with a congregation full of women. But I also believe that just as it was in the days of Deborah, where God raised up Deborah to not only be a prophetess, but also to be the judge in Israel, the men went to Deborah to be have their disputes dealt with. She was the highest ranking spiritual leader among God's people, and the Lord had put her there. In what was going on in Israel at the time, they were steeped into idolatry, and just like now, I think the church in America has lost the script. I tell you, all the churches I've been to, I can't imagine anyone going to church and not, and just doing that, just going to the Sundays and listening to the service and taking notes and somehow making it to heaven. To be honest with you, I don't think it's possible in most situations. Now, if you want to make it to heaven, you got to seek God yourself. I've rarely been to a church where they put forth the truth the way it really is. Most people don't. Most churches don't. Vastly, the most of the churches do not. Even good churches are really not that good. They're really not that good. So I'm convinced that God is raising up women in today's time, because the churches that are out there in many cases are weak and feeble and filled with people that are headed for hell. And many men that have been called into full-time ministry have abandoned their post. So I'm convinced that women are ordained in today's time in America to be in positions of authority and be in positions of leadership. Here are some of the problems I see with that scenario. When you have women in positions of leadership who want to be respected by men. Now, if you're trying to build a women's ministry, then don't bother with this video. You don't need it. This video is for women church leaders that want to be respected by men. Let's address that. Now, some of these situations have happened to me personally, and other times I was at a church and I just witnessed it happening And I thought, well, that is really not what I want. I don't want that at all. So things that I've personally experienced, but also things that I've witnessed going to many, not just one or two churches. I've been to at least 12 with some kind of woman in positions of leadership. Now, some of them are really good, and there's some that I actually respect a great deal. But there are some others that I think are really need to check themselves. And let's go ahead and begin with what I see the difference between men and women is you know so let me give you this example. Oftentimes women, I think, see men as childish because of their hobbies, right? They like the time they watch sports, or they play video games, or they do things that children do. Well, men see women in that same light for the childish behavior that they put forth. A lot of times women are very huggy, and they hug, and it's something that men tolerate among women. Not all women, but the women that are kind of huggy and they're touchy, and then men just kind of put up with that. We don't really like that. That's not something that we like. I don't want to be hugged by my church leader. I can't respect the pastor of my church if she wants to hug me. I just can't. I don't like to be touched in general. I don't like people putting their hands on me in general. There's only two kinds of women that I'm okay with if they want to hug me. And that is some close family members, my mother, my daughters, some aunts, some cousins maybe. I'd be okay with that. Or women that want to lay in my bed. Those are the two kinds of women that I'm okay with if they want to hug me. But if I go to church, I want to respect the church leadership. I don't want them hugging me. I know women bond like that. Women hug each other because they bond like that. Men don't bond like that. Men don't hug a woman and bond with her. Okay, that's not how it works. To me, it looks childish, it feels childish, and it makes me think of you in a childish way. I don't want to be in a church where my personal space is being invaded because you want to have some kind of bond with me. If you want to bond with me, then respect me. If you want to bond with me, don't gossip about me, and speak up for me on my behalf. Respect me. That's how you connect with me, not by putting your hands on me. I'm not liking that. I also been and I've heard women church leadership be a little bit too free with the phrase, I love you. I love you is another one of those phrases that I don't want to hear from women that aren't my close family members, or women that want to share my bed. The phrase I love you doesn't belong. I don't even tell God that I love him. I demonstrate my love for him by doing what he says. I don't go around saying I love you to people. It's very uncomfortable for me to have a church leader say I love you. It'd be one thing if you're up in front of the congregation and you say, love you guys, or something like that. That's tolerable. But to go up to an individual and say I love you is too personal. It makes me think about you in the wrong kind of light. And I think the last time that happened at this other church I was going to, I actually told God, I said, if she tells me she loves me one more time, I'm going to ask her out on a date. She's married, I'm married. I guess that makes it okay, right? It is inappropriate. Is it okay for a man to be hugging on the women in the church? Is it okay for a male pastor to be hugging on the women in the congregation? Is it okay for a male pastor to be going up to women in the congregation saying I love you? If it's not appropriate for the men, don't do it as a woman. Do that amongst yourselves. If you want to be respected by men in the congregation, don't do that kind of stuff. I won't bring my video games into your church if you keep your hands off me and stop telling me that you love me. I'll keep my childish things away from you and your church if you can keep your childish things away from me. I want to respect the church leadership. I want to have respect. I want to go to church and respect the leadership. I don't want to play these silly games. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. And that's why there's a lot of churches I don't go to anymore. A lot of churches with women leadership, I just won't go back to. It's too much. It's too much drama. I don't like to be touched in general. I've had to confront folks at my job because they put their hands on me. I don't like to be touched. I don't want to be hugged by anyone but very specific individuals. If you want to bond with me, respect me. That's how it works. Until next time, praise the Lord.